How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to During Business Hours. This is Christopher.
And I'm Eric.
Today, we're hanging out talking about the latest news. Did you hear the Queen is dead?
The Queen?
Oh my God.
Dairy Queen? She died?
No. Galadriel.
Galadriel died? No, I didn't see that in the third episode.
Oh, are we talking about that? Yeah, but she's technically a queen, isn't she? She's royalty of some sort. She has to be. She's.
I don't know enough about the
character,
like royalty of elves in Middle Earth or anything, but I know she's seen as like a queen or like a more like a priestess, a divine being, you know, for her generosity, beauty, kindness,
beauty.
You know, she's so hot. It cures diseases
in the books.
Yeah.
39.5-foot pole for the actress they chose.
She's pretty. She's not disease curing pretty, but
she's not stiffness pretty either. I'm just saying it doesn't raise a pole in her honor. You at least have to raise the flag to bear the fight or bear the weight. It's not an attractive character in my opinion. And I'm telling you, there are dead fish that can make me hormonally. If you didn't know, this is During Business Hours, and we can talk about whatever we want because we have the freedom in America to choose what we discuss. And I am very open with things like this. And
with how much you want to fuck dead fish?
Well, no, I'm just saying the smell of dead fish is like rancid, but the way the carcass moves, I don't know. Sashimi. It's a sexy time sashimi. You know, it's the ambiance. I did a interview with Mick. That'll be last episode today. I wanted to poke around to some of the Facebook groups and some of the people that people hold in high esteem or high regard. I held them in high regard. Young kid who was doing a lot of money when I wasn't doing a lot of money. And I wanted to know his story more than what he puts online.
Because like he got out of the game too, so it's like what the heck he's been up to.
Transferred different games, but I've been working in the same industry 9 years. It's the only industry that I've worked a third of my life now, and it was not intentional. It was a complete accident.
Out of spite.
Yeah, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. And now that I'm doing something I want to do, I'm grateful. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I feel.
It's helped give you the opportunity to start doing the things that you want.
Exactly. You know, the saying where it's like bust your ass for a while so you can, what is it? How does that go? When you undervalue what you do, the world will undervalue who you are. Things do not happen. Things are made to happen. This is a big one for you, Eric. When you undervalue what you do, the world will undervalue who you are.
Well, that's always why we're charge for your time. Don't do things for free. Don't do things cheap for no reason. This is the
number 3 podcast in the world. In the world. Number 3.
In the world?
Yeah.
For new and noteworthy? For
new and noteworthy.
We got to milk that as long as we can. That doesn't last forever.
It'll last forever in my fucking eyes. I'm telling you right now, eventually this will be number 3 for content-driven whatchamafucks. Right? That's what I'm calling it. Whatchamafucks.
Work hard today for what you can enjoy tomorrow.
That's it.
There's 1,000 versions of that, but basically you work hard today so you don't have to.
My premise when I was younger was like, I'm busting my ass now. 7 days a week, 20-hour days, 16-hour days in some days. But I worked seven days a week. It ruined a relationship. It ruined family life. I spent a lot of time and effort on like this idea that I am shaping a wheel to roll down the other side of the hill. So like 30, 40, I can retire. Mm-hmm. And like, I'm starting to see the benefits of that. And I feel like at times I get distracted where I'm like, okay, well, I have more free time. I have more ability now that I'm making more money and I have other revenue sources where I can be like, oh, let me take a break from the wheel spinning, then I'm not making any progress. The wheel stays the same place on the mountain. Mm-hmm. And so when I looked at these people, I was like, their wheels are already fucking there, you know, like It's the way they present themselves online.
You're coming up at the top of the mountain and their shit's already rolling down.
Exactly. You get the idea. So I was like, well, I'll interview some of the people that I looked at like they were better than me. Mm-hmm. And Mick was one of those people. And then, talking to him and then the idea of like him moving out of the industry, I was like, oh shit. It's not that he was ever better than, it was he presented himself as a more accomplished person for even such a young person. He handled himself in business better. He transacted higher amounts. He moved more product, and he knew people of higher esteem. But that was his choice. That wasn't what he did. It was, oh no, I'm going to do this, and he did it.
Well, that's like the freaking, you get a clipboard or a ladder, whichever side of the prank you do, and you walk in somewhere like you belong, and suddenly you do.
Exactly.
He came in with an attitude that he was professional, did work differently than everyone else, faster, quicker, more responsive, whatever the heck it was, and then grew his own image out of that.
It's weird because it turns out he had a stroke and then seizures after that, just from the stress.
I was going to say from the stress of it or something.
Strictly the stress.
Younger guy, right?
19, 20, 22 now, I think. But yeah. So like, I'm fucking 32 next month. 32. The big 3-2. It's really not that big. It's just double 16, Double the size, double the fun, double the pleasure for everyone. And it's like a reality check. It's like, oh shit, not everything you see online is true. I held him, a couple other people to high regard. I've got interviews for all of them. I want to talk about why they're not in the industry anymore, what they're doing, what their life goals are, where they're from, how they got there. I think it's a genuinely good idea to see into the lives of the people you had admired or held to a regard. The same way Tyson met Ali. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like it was like just a genuine curiosity. It worked. I think it's a decent idea that I'm rolling with. I like it. Any new information? But the Queen's dead. Elon Musk is a bunch of shit.
Thurston Waffles passed away.
Who's Thurston Waffles?
It's my favorite meme cat.
Hold on. What?
He's one of the meme cats. There's cats that are famous for certain things.
Oh no.
He's the little goblin cat that his owner would just pan to him, and he's sitting there looking all stupid, and then he would just like do a little scream. I'm more upset over that than some other things that have happened lately. Thurston Waffles. He died. I didn't look up how he died. I don't know if I want to know. Hit by a car or some shit. That would be tragic.
Why would they let somebody worth so much money?
He's an outdoor cat. They put him on a little leash, take him for walks. They bolt.
Then what? What if Daddy doesn't want to walk? Oh. You'll just keep making that sound? Really? Till Daddy's head explodes?
That's his most famous one.
Why is it the most famous one?
That's his most famous clip of his final little scream there at the end. 400,000, almost 500,000 likes. So yeah, it says 430,000 likes. And he's done countless things since then. Not one of the most famous cats out there, but near and dear to my heart.
Why 90,000 likes?
He's a cute cat. That
wow.
meows and screams.
Ragamuffin Waffles. In a recent interview, Matt described his moment he met Thurston Waffles for the first time. When he made the pilgrimage to see them, we saw a scruffy little gremlin staring back at us. We only had room for one kitten at the time. Unfortunately, we picked them an evil twin, he jokes. From the first moment I held him and he locked his tiny white fangs onto my flesh on my arm, I instantly fell in love with him. From the vacuous hatred in his eyes to the demanding scowl, I knew in that moment I was forever his. What is wrong with you? Matt didn't initially plan on sharing Thurston Waffles with the world, but he soon realized how unique a white ball of fluffs and personality was, and decided to see how he was received by the online cat community. After a couple of years living with Thurston, I realized it was basically like living with a rageaholic feral child, one with sharp claws and piercing howl. He had a lot of bizarre, destructive furry behaviors. This is crazy.
Yeah. Thurston's got problems.
So the music was laid over after the fact because he was sliding.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, little buddy. So is it just
He had a
age?
sinus infection, nasal cancer. Damn, rough way to go, buddy.
I hate cats that do that shit. That is so annoying. Oh, God. What was it? What did Elon say? I heard...
I'm sure he had some choice words for something.
Yeah, it's something crazy. He had said, hey, you queen, you're going to make it. The fuck is this?
He posted that a year ago? A little over a year? What the hell?
He pinned it today. So, I'm assuming and remember. So, yeah, something about the queen, right? That's funny.
Was it about the queen?
Yeah,
King?
I was a year ago when she was sick. Yeah, you king, you're gonna make it. And then, yeah, hey you king, queen, you're gonna make it. So they had this gigafactory completely painted in Texas. Dude, it is like a massive amount of murals. He's getting bored with his money, I'm telling you. Or is it?
How much he has, he's got.
Dude, his new evaluations, he's almost a trillionaire.
Did you see Jeff Bezos' tweet
No, I didn't.
about the queen?
Was it bad?
It was just, y'all need to be respectful and stop making jokes about this. And everyone was like jumping on him, like, why is the least ethical man in the world talking about ethics right now? Because a lot of Twitter very happy the queen is gone, being the Irish Indian.
Can we all agree she was a royal cunt? She married her cousin. Her kids are insane. The family's insane. The shit that they're into is insane. And they keep it in the family. Anyone who doesn't finds out, like Meghan Markle, which is really fucked up. I don't understand why they treated her so badly. She was great in Suits. She was my favorite actress in Suits. Really had talent. And then fucking Harry had to come and swoop her off her feet and steal her from the show. Like, fuck you, Harry. Nice kids, by the way. But seriously, let her work. She wants to work, let her work. Don't want her to work? Cool.
Not cared for
But
forever.
then she had to go through all the race shit and the bigotry and the hatred. And like, I understand, but it was like 2019. Get the fuck over it. Like, well, you know, she's such an old queen. It's just the old ways. Even the Pope says crazy shit now. Like they're accepting the new way, new world order is not the way it used to be. There's gay people. There's different colored people. You deal with it or you get fucking canceled. Facts.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody mad? Somebody mad? No, that's just Mick texting me. Now he's my, hey, can you help? Can you help this? Can you help that? He's a cool guy. Did not understand. He was pretty down to earth. So yeah. He also said almost every male character is a coward, jerk, or both. Only Gadriel is brave, smart, and nice. I would say she's brave, smart, and nice, but definitely not the go-to person. And then in episode 3, not brave, rude, not smart, very dumb, trying to challenge a queen and a nation, and not nice, very
Immediately, openly to their face in front of everyone.
like spitting on them. Very weird. Like, come on, know your shit. Steve Bannon is now being indicted.
Who's Steve Bannon?
Trump's friend. So this is the guy who refused to give over evidence in the January 6th hearing.
Yes, he the strategist.
But
Okay,
here it is. So he's charged with money laundering and conspiracy and willful acts to commit fraud. Basically, he took money in charity. He did a charity fraud case. He got a last minute pardon on from Trump when he was last minute in office, and he was going to go to jail. But people count him as like some anti-simulation. Oh, he calls out the bullshit. Really, he's just stealing your fucking money, because in the We Build a Wall fund, he raised $15 million to construct a barrier along the Mexico border.
And he was skimming.
No, he didn't just skim. He took chunks. This is understating. He took like 40% of the fucking money, allegedly. But he got a fucking pardon before he even got charges for this. So they technically can still charge him for it. Yeah. Mistrial was declared. Third alleged co-conspirator trial when a jury could not reach unanimous verdict. He raised a bunch of money on GoFundMe. The DA's office finally was like, fuck it, we're just hitting him. Apparently people were yelling, "Stop hurting America, you greasy grifter," one woman yelled at Bannon as he entered the building, his brief remarks drowned out by heckling. Like I said, I'm not a supporter of Trump. People like this are fucking insane, because Trump gets all these people who are like, they pretend to be people of power, people of, what's the word?
Like that they have a position to accomplish things or leverage.
They're like, what's the word? To a person of influence. Mm-hmm. So he gets all these people that are people of influence and people of power, social media. The guy who died from cancer in, what was his name? The radio talk show host or whatever. He got a pardon too. He got the Medal of Honor. The crazy guy who said Sandy Hook.
The guy who got
Not Alex Jones. It was the other one.
Shoot. He had that show that's canceled off the internet, made its own website.
No, that's the Sandy Hook other guy. Trump says he wanted to give himself the Medal of Honor. What?
Give himself the Medal of Honor?
Yeah.
Can you do that?
Technically. It's a medal from himself to himself. So he was a radio personality.
Rush Limbaugh.
Limbaugh. He got the Medal of Freedom. This guy was the fucking worst. It was the biggest and most controversial moments.
President carried his bags in. That's for the president to carry some stuff into the house?
I'm telling you, there's crazy shit. Time featured Limbaugh on its cover alongside federal broadcaster Howard Stern. By then, Limbaugh claimed an audience in the millions, and outlets began documenting his confrontational and often crude style, referring to feminists as feminazis. There are feminazis. Absolutely. I believe that. I have met them and dealt with them. Feminazis are real.
Can't just blanket them all, though.
I'm not blanking them, but that's like saying Nazis aren't real because they'd be all Germans. You know? Get my point? I could see how some people are like...
a belief versus a particular group of people.
There's what's the word for like a person's place thing? It's an adjective or a noun. Yeah.
Categorization?
Plural, I don't know. Newly elected Republican Congress invited Limbaugh to speak at their orientation, casting his show as key part of the party's electoral success that year. Months after signing, October 28, 2001, $285 million 9-year contract. He revealed that he almost entirely deaf due to rapid hearing loss, but he would continue hosting the show with the help of cochlear implants. During a short-lived stint as an NFL commentator, 2 years later on ESPN, Limbaugh suggested Eagles quarterback Donovan McNabb got a credit for his performance to his team that he didn't deserve. 2006, arrested on prescription drug fraud charges. Years of addiction, pain. I understand. He went to rehab. Chuckled after a caller compared then President Barack Obama to Curious George, a cartoon monkey. He apologized after, gathered steam. Limbaugh encouraged his overwhelming conservative listeners to weaken Obama by switching parties and voting the Democratic Party for Hillary Clinton. Jesus. declared on air, I hope he fails. Georgetown law student Sandra Fluke, a slut and a prostitute after she publicly advocated for universal contraception coverage. I do believe the world should have access to birth control, condoms, and contraception. Free. It's like us in screen protectors, right? If our tempered screen protector, we charge $100 for a product we have a 75% markup on. If we can't spare 70 cents to protect that customer, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think those should also be included if you're already getting a service. If you're paying taxes, you should have basic availability. Medical, in emergencies.
You can get a ton of condoms at Planned. Well, we used to be able to get condoms at Planned Parenthood. Now it's a whole fucking
That's what
thing.
I'm saying. This is just getting lung cancer in 2020. Hurricane Irma implied to the media he was intentionally exaggerating the storm's severity and basis claims that some critics warned could hamper officials. Yeah,
what is the Medal of Freedom for?
That's a hard one. Voter frauds last year election wondered aloud whether the country is trending towards secession. Through the later clarified he doesn't support the idea of probably never will.
Especially meritorious contribution to the security or national interests of the United States, world peace, cultural or other significant aim. That seems like a stretch for him. To be a major cultural influence to the entirety of the United States.
Everyone's saying Biden shouldn't run 2024.
He's too old. Go away.
It's not even just that. They're saying that he's not making decisions like a lot of
It's almost like he had a brain aneurysm and was urged not to do any, major critical thinking or major decision makings. But presidency, perfect. Let's do it. I don't hate the guy, but a doctor tells you to take it easy. Don't stress your brain out. You'll live the rest of your life out comfortably. Maybe you should.
Did you hear about Jennifer Lawrence?
What's going on with her? What's she doing?
I will say to your last statement, he shouldn't be president. Absolutely. But you should not have your party. If you people hated Trump, but people in his party didn't outright say that he could not understand politics. You know what I mean? Even though he was a stupid president, he didn't really understand much but business and business etiquette. Mm-hmm. Politics wasn't his thing, but they never came out and were like, he's horrible for politics. You know what I mean? There's most of
a lot of his party never did, but a lot of
his
people
party.
did.
But when you're turning your own side, that's like a boss.
Have people been speaking out against him?
That's like you going to the labor board right now, being like, he's not a bad boss, but he just shouldn't own a business. You know what I mean? So this is what gets me, and I don't want to be a complete canceled asshole for this. I think she's a dirty, horrible person. Flat out, I'm not going to curse. She's a mother. Mm-hmm. I understand she's going through shit. Mm-hmm. But this woman sickens me.
Why?
And she was like FAP quality when I was a teen. So I'm disgusted.
She still looks great. If that's all we're
Hold on
here.
That's not where we're getting here. So she talks about motherhood, Causeway, and the end of Roe v. Wade. Mm-hmm. Causeway is her fucking movie that's coming out. Mm-hmm. What do most of these C-list actors now do?
She's B-list.
No.
B-list actors.
Don't try and correct this. Let me state my statement. What do most of these ugly people, not physically ugly, but just nasty people, do when a new movie is coming out and not getting the traction for hype or whatever that comes out?
Pimp it out. Interviews. Publicity stunt. What you do? What's going on?
So I saw an article about how in this article from Vogue, we're on Vogue right now, she talks about her family and she talks about having miscarriages and all this crazy shit. Basically, she was meant to, and I'll sum it up because it's a long article. She was meant to meet a writer, person, whoever, at golf. She doesn't golf, doesn't want to golf. So she goes and gets the writer place or Vogue to pay for a spa visit. Okay, you know what? But I want the spa visit where they beat you with the banana leaves and like really get into the skin. And you're like, oh, okay, I'll try and find that for you. They go to a regular spa and they get massages. And so they start talking about all the things she's going through. She'd gotten a spray tan the day before. She's feeling guilty, blah, 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 talking to the spa employee, talking about Causeway, this film, and the Waverly Gallery, and the most central narratives involve relationship with Lawrence's character. And she's just one who fixed his broken down truck, played by supremely talented Brian Tyree Henry. So they take all these photos after they get done with the spa, I'm sure. Various threads weaved into a meditation on trauma, an unusual one. She played in the Hurt Locker, trauma pilot. There's no flashbacks. She has a production company called Excellent Cadaver. Company name refers to a Sicilian mafia term for hit job on a high-profile person. I will have my target on my head every time I make a film. Winner, record breaker, financial might. Most known for loud comedies. I like a fast-paced Marvel movie as much as the next person. I don't know the slow melody, a character-driven story. So they're talking about movies, the movie she's in, all the little things. These pictures just drive me nuts because they're very like, what the fuck is that for? They move to the cold room and they're speaking about this person, this role in a movie. It was time for Korean body scrubs. It goes from that to motherhood for some reason. She did share that the baby is a boy and his name is C.Y. after the post-war American painter C.Y. Twombly, one of the Maroonies' favorite artists. Lawrence spoke deliberately with, as I read it, a keen understanding that she was approaching a third rail. It's so scary to talk about motherhood only because it's different for everybody. If I say it was an amazing from the start, but some people will think it wasn't amazing for me at first and feel bad. Fortunately, I have so many girlfriends who are honest or like, it's scary. You might not connect right away. You might not fall in love right away. So I felt so prepared to be forgiving. I remember walking with one of my best friends at like 9 months and being like, everyone kept saying I will love my baby more than my cat. But that's not true. Maybe I'll love him as much as my cat. But she did fall in love right away. And she does seem she loves her baby more than she loves her cat. The morning after I gave birth, I just felt like my whole life had started over. Like now is the day one of my life. I just started. I was just so in love. I also fell in love with all the babies everywhere. Newborns are so amazing. They're just so pink, swollen, fragile little survivors. Now I love all babies. Now I hear baby crying in a restaurant. I'm like, oh, precious. It's very personal. She said Causeway. I get emotional every time I watch a movie. I don't know why it bounces back and forth. She went on. So many of the films in the past have been about my mother, my childhood. I wonder what will happen now, witnessing somebody else's childhood and wonder what he's going to be talking about with his therapist. She would put me down. She kisses me on the mouth. She asked me not to go to college. It was the best thing ever, and yet totally terrifying. My heart has stretched to the capacity I didn't know about. I include my husband in that, and yet they're both just like, out there, walking around, crossing streets. He's going to drive one day. He's going to be a stupid teenager and be that behind the wheel of a car. I'm just going to be like, God, good night. You know, like who sleeps? In late June, I drove to Lawrence's house in Beverly Hills. She greeted me at the door with a knee-length gray robe and fluffy white slippers. She had finished fitting for the photo shoot, given a dress code for our first meeting. I saw no need to put on more clothes. I was like, she's already seen me naked, so who cares? Lawrence led me through the sunken den to a large outdoor dining area that seemed in Southern style as she uncorked a bottle of wine. She warned me that she was in a mood. Not a bad mood exactly, but a consistent emotional one, and brought by the Supreme Court decision overruling Roe v. Wade a few days earlier. Much of her disappointment was directed at certain relatives back in Louisville. Here's where it gets good. Kentucky, where she had grown up, including her father. In 2016, the election had torn a rift in her family. Repairing it was an ongoing process, particularly since having a baby. She had been trying to heal. She even discussed it with her therapist. the reoccurring nightmares she has had about Tucker Carlson. I just worked so hard in the last 5 years to forgive my dad and my family and try to understand. It's different. The information they are getting is different. Their life is different. Lawrence had a haunted look in her eyes. She would stop at times to apologize and make self-deprecating joke, then get visibly overtaken by emotion again. I felt like I was watching a real-life version of whatever it happens when she acts. I've tried to get over it, and I really just can't. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm unleashing, but I can't fuck with people who aren't who aren't political anymore. But I can't fuck with people who aren't political anymore. You live in the United States of America. You have to be political. It's too dire. Politics are killing people. So then here's where I flip. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm assuming this is 2 interviews. The way it's let out.
They had an interview at the spa, and then this is like a follow-up later.
Hey, let me come over for the photo shoot. Let me drink some wine. You're fucking melting about Roe v. Wade. Now you're talking about your parents, your therapist. This is the most self-absorbed
It's an interview
center
about
of the
her.
fucking universe.
Gotta be self-absorbed.
Bruh.
If someone came down and told you to talk about yourself, you would go on for
life,
fucking ever.
what are you doing in your day? I don't need to know that you hate your fucking relatives because they voted for somebody else.
It's a piece to show that celebrities are just like the rest of us.
That's not the rest of us.
They got problems. They got all sorts of crazy shit going on.
Do you hate me because I voted for Trump?
I don't hate you because you voted for Trump.
Do you dislike me in any way because I voted for Trump?
I dislike certain things about you, but I'm not going to base it all on one singular thing.
Exactly. But I'm just saying, it's not like, we don't have to be political. You do not have to be involved in politics. You want to know why? Fucking freedom of choice.
There's certain things you have to get in on.
You have to, certain things if you're going to participate in, that you need to be aware of. That's it. You need to be aware that you have the freedoms. It tells
you a lot about how your friends view you if you identify as one thing and they vote for something that gets rid of that or limits it.
It's not that. Here's the thing. If I overlook your concerns for my own, and then you're upset by that, that tells more of you than it does for others. Because then...
Yes and no, because if somebody votes for Don't Say Gay Bill, they view queer people as less than people. It's not as cut and dry as that. That's still a generalization of a generalization. But any vote against immigrants, against queer people, like I'm saying, it's even if it's not at the front of your mind when you're doing it, you are opposing those people. You are opposing their lifestyle.
It's the hard part is that it takes hundreds of people to make those bills and hundreds of opinions. And then it's down to 2 people to have a conversation and say, okay, there's parts in it I like, there's parts in it I don't like. I can't just waive everything because if it doesn't, then I'm losing out on the ability. That's the way this game is played. They put so much in there to leave it open to the next law, to leave it open to the next thing. Oh, we got this, but we didn't get that. And then they play this fucking give and take game. That's what needs to be taught to children. It's all give and take. It's all negotiations behind closed doors. This shit, somebody had told me it was a nasty, it makes her look bad, right? It keeps going on.
I haven't seen anything that makes her look bad yet. She's a celebrity. She's eccentric. That's about it.
So when she gets talking into her miscarriages,
cool, get it out there. It's if she's making this about Roe v. Wade and stuff, bring up that kind of shit. They're giving her a platform to speak, so she did.
To me, this seems like a scattered, recently, what's the word? She just had a kid. She's going through a lot of shit.
And she's got a great connection for all sorts of people going through the same stuff right now for the same reasons.
I think she got paid less for a couple of movies, and she's getting paid even lesser now. And she needs a little bit of hype for her new movie that she keeps in the worst times. I had a miscarriage. Oh, look at my new movie. I did that. Look at my new movie.
Any fucking celebrity does that.
That's not what they do.
Pimp your goddamn movie out every moment. It's what your agent makes you do.
Dude, this just from
celebrities are not even their own people.
The whole point of this is to average person, right? I don't read articles. This is not I don't care about Jennifer Lawrence. It was all X-Men, nudity, great. get the fuck out of here. Like, I understand you're a real person. That's not my problem here. I understand you're a mother. I have children. I understand that. I've been through miscarriages. I've been through abortions. Never would I put it out there while promoting your movie that no, I was absolutely on my way to get an abortion when I had a miscarriage. No shit. You probably stressed yourself out because it's a big fucking decision. But there's better ways to say it than, oh, you know, I was like getting an abortion and luckily I didn't have to make that decision. God made it for me. And have you checked out my new movie? This is just, it could have been done so much better. But to try and, even the person who's writing this is writing this with like, you can feel the dismay for having to do this interview. It's not outright said, but the way it's written about how much more recently, Vanity Repair reported that she earned $5 million less than Leonardo DiCaprio for Don't Look Up, period, bracket. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, and she claimed she was made less money. Like, you know, like there'd be a favoritism, like they're trying to get the story out, but the writing to me is so bland. It's weird. The hackling and leaking of her nude photos felt punitive as though it was because she was one of the highest paid actresses in the world and someone thought, strip her clothes off. You know, it's, it goes into the Roe v. Wade. I remember a million times thinking while I was pregnant, thinking about the things that were happening to my body. I had a great pregnancy. I felt fortunate. I had a very fortunate pregnancy, but every single second of my life was different. It could occur to me sometimes, what if I was forced to do this? And how on earth can anyone have children and not want to restrict access to guns? She wanted to know. I'm raising a little boy who is going to school one day. Guns are number one cause of death for children in the United States. And people are still voting for politicians who receive money from the NRA. It blows my mind. If I mean Sandy Hook didn't change anything, we as a nation just went, okay, we are allowing our children to lay down their lives for our right to a Second Amendment that was written over 200 years ago. At one point, I asked Lawrence if there was still open communication about politics with her family, if she broached the subject with her relatives in Kentucky. I broached the subject in the sense that I unleashed text messages, just boom, 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 boom. They don't respond. And then I feel bad and send a picture of the baby. At another point, I looked down at my list of questions about her movie and acting career and started to laugh. I felt absurd to segue into all that. Lawrence read my mind instantly and started to laugh too. Yes, I did make a movie. I worked really hard on it. It was hardest shoot of my life. It was 3 years and I hope people see it. But if not, we're all going to die anyway, so who cares? Causeway, blah, 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 amend the excellent cadaver, etc. The person who does it and studied at Yale. During lockdown, it gets more into the connection. Then all of a sudden her husband, where does it go? Lawrence states a pregnancy in the shoot of Causeway and very pregnant. She started doing dress for Don't Look Up, Upward. You know what I mean? At one point, Maroney came over to her in their hospital room. He was like, do you want me to say any of this stuff? Doesn't seem like you want me here. She didn't. Lawrence was on the ground, leaning on an exercise ball and repeating a more helpful affirmation that she did come up with on the fly. Don't be a pussy if it's not that bad. Don't be a pussy. It's not that bad. And then it goes back to a Craigslist ad seeking someone to date her son before he went to college, directed by whatever. It's another movie that segues into this movie that she's in. For the moment, Lawrence was preoccupied with midterm elections. At the end of the day, an interview at her house. She kept thinking of more things to say. There were multiple calls on the 4th of July, at least one voice memo. She sent a long, thought-out, fact-filled paragraphs, many op-eds via text. Later on the phone, emotion will pour out. She was upset about Kentucky's trigger laws banning abortions immediately after the Supreme Court decisions and how overturning Roe would sure affect the poor people most. Like Ruth Bader Ginsburg said, a woman means if... Yeah, she was demoralized. An anemic response of Democratic leaders was felt as Biden's toothless executive action. If anyone ever needed proof that our two-party system is a failure, she was beside herself with conservative majority court could take away a right to roughly 85% of Americans believe in, and that so-called party of small government didn't view this as an overreach. The government out of my snatch, okay? Pull quote on the record. She was engaged to male politicians and male talking heads would weigh in on the matter at all. It's too personal to females' existence to watch white men debate over uteruses when they, from the bottom of their hearts, can't find a clitoris. She was incensed in the court's decision expanding gun rights after the school shooting in Uvalde and decision limiting the EPA's ability to regulate carbon emissions. So it goes on more about these people are fucking old, Ohio Senate, pretending that I'm not. Go on for a bit and then fire off more text. Boom, 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 boom. She seemed to be animated by faith that if only she found the right words, she could reach more relatives. They'd actually believe it was all a misunderstanding. Everyone's at the bottom. They had more in common than that, but guess not. Amid that daily miracle of C, I see why her son. I mean, it's euphoria. C is just Jesus. It's impossible, Lawrence said. I always tell him, I love you so much, it's impossible. So basically, all of that was she's so upset that people voted for Trump and caused all this shit 6 years later.
Mm-hmm.
She
That had been 6 years since Roe v. Wade.
No. This all stems, her family in Kentucky caused everything.
Because of a difference in political opinions.
If Trump was never in office, Roe v. Wade would never, be overturned.
It may have never come up. Who knows?
He put judges in. I understand that. It's not his direct fault. It wasn't like
he put the judges in. It's his fault.
I'd say it was the judges' stupid fucking
The
decisions.
judge made the decision because he appointed certain people to swing it a certain way.
So you're going to blame... I don't think it's his fault that it's Roe v. Wade.
He has a hand in it. You can't say he didn't do anything.
I can say that he is definitely a creator of a stupid situation.
He toppled a tiny domino that hit larger and larger dominoes.
Exactly.
So he's
not
part of it. He's not solely responsible for it. But he's responsible. He's got a hand in it.
But she's saying that her family, she is now, I distance myself from family. I understand. This is like, all my family is anti whatever I am.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's never been a political median for us. And I just don't talk politics.
They don't anti anything that goes against your core identity and who you are as a person.
Everything.
White and male and conservative.
So I can't, yeah, you're right.
You're allowed to have opinions and think about things, but you are not in the minority.
I'm just saying, my point being, this is so ridiculous. Somebody I was like, no, she's a normal person. I've seen movies. I've seen the interviews. I'm like, I don't really know a lot, but she seems like she's down to earth. This is a batshit crazy interview.
All celebrities are batshit crazy. All of them, even the nice ones like Jeff Goldblum, fucking insane.
If anyone ever cuts their family out purely for who they vote for,
I have family I don't talk to because they're so crazy.
6 years later, for their entire world of being oppressed as $160 million net worth, and says that all the children in the world, the highest death rate is guns in America for children, and that guns are the problem because of... I don't understand. This is all just trying to sell a movie. And the only reason we're talking about it is because this fucking movie Causeway. Don't go see it. Boycott it. Jennifer Lawrence. This is crazy.
Or go watch it if you want to.
No, I wouldn't. Solidarity. Anti-Causeway.
Because of an interview about politics in which you say the difference in politics.
It's not just the politics.
So you're saying she's crazy for being this way about politics with her family.
It's not just that. Are you
not being a little crazy about politics versus you and her? You're always talking about facts, not feelings, and you seem to feel pretty strongly on this one.
You got me there.
She's got you upset, and it's putting you on the defensive.
It's not her, it's the writer.
It's whoever did this fucking thing.
I just think it's so baffling to use your kids when you already have a net worth of $160 million and then you're going to use your unborn children, past, present, and future.
Every celebrity is here to
leverage.
push an agenda.
This agenda sucks. It's probably
This
a shitty
whole
movie.
everything sucks.
Who's the guy that was in the photo? So she is
The
co-starring.
actor she works with?
There was a movie or a photo of Causeway in here. This one. That guy, he's a,
go.
this guy. What was he in? Oh, I haven't seen Bullet Train yet, but that looks good. Atlanta. And then he was in it.
Eternals, yeah.
Dude. He was also in Godzilla. He is a great fucking actor.
That is good range.
Dude, I'm telling you, he's in Joker. He was in a bunch of stuff. He is a fantastic actor. How did he get Hotel Artemis is the one that's on my list I gotta see. It's an older movie, but yeah. It is crazy. If you see this photo, he looks
old.
older, yeah.
But he's aging, different roles, range. It all comes together.
It's one of those things where like I didn't even want to talk. There is no reason that it had to be this epic for a fucking Vogue. Like, here, let me talk about my movie.
It's working.
Yeah, it's getting us talking
Their
about
thing
it.
got us talking about it. We're presenting it to our audience. They're going to discuss it. Maybe, I don't know how much they engage. It's working. Celebrities are pushing an agenda, pushing a
It's
movie,
crazy
pushing things to happen.
I can't understand. I'm just baffled. When I was reading this the other night, I'm like, there's no fucking way that somebody is making this much of a stink about relatives and their political agenda. Like, there's so much context missing there. But then when it got into the rest of, as we've discussed, I'm like, no, there's a bit of crazy there. And as Eric has reminded me, they're fucking crazy. They're crazy. That's pretty much all. The Queen is dead. Long live the King. Charles, who I thought
Isn't he older than the Queen?
Isn't he? No, he's the son. He's the son who's technically the cousin's son. So then,
Isn't he a first cousin?
Second cousin's son, right? Correct me in the comments, but I believe he's the second cousin's son. Wasn't he also involved in Epstein? Allegedly.
I mean, they have that giant list that magically disappeared.
Well, that's why he was not technically the prince anymore, right? So how did he become the prince and now he's the king?
I mean, that's just by blood. That makes him the king. Boom, done.
I got to do a little more research, so we'll get on it tomorrow. But yeah, it was an interesting one when I saw that all of a sudden he's going to be king, because I was like, I really hoped Meghan Markle was going to come in with a lawsuit and be like, you've been served, like her show Suits. Like, we're taking over this enterprise. Down with London Bridge.
Could do a TV show about that.
Dude, if Boris Johnson was, I'm just saying, I saw a meme about like, shook hands with Boris Johnson on your deathbed. Well, I'd get out of there too.
We never talked about the Corgis.
Oh, go ahead.
The Queen doesn't want any of her Corgis to live without her. So Twitter's been talking about all the tiny Corgi blindfolds they're having to put on this morning. Break the news to them that their mom is gone, and shortly they will be too.
Don't talk bad about the Queen. She's a mother, a cousin fucker, and a mother to a pedophile.
No, she's a mother, a cousin, a sister, a wife, and it's really hard on the one man who had to lose all four of those in one fell swoop.
Where is it? Please be respectful when talking about the Queen. She was the head of state, a monarch, a mother to multiple pedophiles, and most importantly, a devoted cousin to her husband.
Yeah. Royalty's some weird shit.
When it's evil and wicked, I don't know.
Some people don't like it.
Long live the king. Just no islands, please. I don't know what to say. That's just one of those things. No crazy customers today, luckily. Oh, wait, we had crackheads.
We also had a super impatient cellular lady.
Oh, yeah, but hey, you know what we do? We do it during business hours. We don't give a shit. You're on our time. Customer service. We got to take a break, too. All right, everybody. Make sure you hit the share button. We'll see you all next time.
Life can be super happy, life can be super sad. I'm trying super hard to separate the good and bad. I go back to my future just to get to my past. But knowing me, my DeLorean will probably crash.